Dave Antoine's up next with a Just the Facts update on Duxbury Government on the local scene.
On July 28th, the Duxbury Select Board got right to business at 878 Tremont with an extensive agenda. Starting off on a ceremonial note as Police Chief Michael Carbone swore in new officers Connor Doyle and Michael Rodkoff. Open forum had touched upon the new hours put forth by the town, the Powder Point Bridge, a letter that is being submitted to the town manager's office with plans to publicize the matter in the Duxbury Clipper and on Facebook. And lastly, comments by longtime volunteer Fred Weiler. The board had committee appointments and resignations, a discussion on a declaration of surplus with town vehicles, licenses, permits, and minutes. The board also looked into requests for conduit installation, noted by town manager Rainey Reed, with an NSTAR request through Eversource to replace a faulty conduit, a process that would require over 1,300 feet to be placed underneath with 5 pull boxes. Concerns arose if it meant digging up pavement, which was put to bed by an official. However, the agreement would later be revisited that night. The two agenda items that took up considerable discussion was the town manager's annual evaluation and the FY27 budget planning. The former started off with town manager Rainey Reed explaining the review process for the evaluation not being governed by the state law, but by contract. Rainey chimed in that he believed the format should remain as it was last year. He provided a memo to the Select Board, providing feedback on the board's individual comments and review, with the system led both by rating and general feedback. Chair Brian Glennon spoke to the public on this topic in a general sense, with categories such as leadership and vision, execution of policy, financial management, relations with the Select Board and staff, community relations, and engagement. Member Michael McGee had inquired about what resources the town manager's office may need for the staff, while Select Woman Amy McNabb indicated that there were areas for improvement with respect to town staff morale. Fernando Guitart read off the completed goals that the town manager was tasked with, including the hiring of the department directors and work at the beach. The latter topic was the FY27 budget planning, continued from May and June Select Board meetings with Finance Director Mayor McKinnon taking the lead along with input from Rainey, who had started off the topic by mentioning that he and Mary had met with various department heads as they planned ahead for FY27, ensuring that public safety, DPW, and the schools were cared for in the budget. Mary began the presentation by wanting to confirm that the Select Board understood the process, indicating that they were working to close the 2025 books, which is expected to finish by end of August with the budget draft prepared for the Select Board by the end of September. FY27 would be informed by the work that the town is doing for FY25, highlighting some of the impact happening within Duxbury, such as 6 collective bargaining agreements that expired this June, including departments such as public safety and the library, among others. With FY27, there are priorities to fund the fixed and mandatory costs, broken down by debt service, sheet assessments, payroll taxes, and other mandatory costs. This would also look at the existing staff holes for public safety, school funding for up to a 3% increase, collective bargaining, other budget lines, and the Select Board budget to support possible reductions in workforce. And that's your Duxbury Government on the local scene. We are so glad you stopped by. If you would like to support community in action through media, please consider donating to the local scene. The QR code here will take you where you need to go. Thanks, friend.